This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
London and South Africa A2X listed Neo Energy Metals, EPIC code NEO, is a uranium developer and miner that holds up to a 70% stake in the Henkrys uranium project in South Africa's Northern Cape province, and has recently announced the acquisition of the Bison North and South projects in the mineral-rich Witwatersrand Basin north of Johannesburg. Chief Executive Sean Heathcote joins us today to talk us through the latest developments. Good day to you, Sean. How are you?
I'm very good. Yourself?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good indeed. So, Sean, you have some 30 years of experience in mining, particularly in and around South Africa. Can you elaborate on NEO's background and strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. NEO was listed on the London Stock Exchange in November the 9th last year, principally as a uranium play, like you say, for the Henkrys deposit, which is a very shallow sand-based uranium deposit in the Northern Cape of South Africa. My background, obviously, is based in South Africa for about 26 years, developed over 100 projects in Africa and 4 of those in uranium. So pretty much know the region where Henkrys is in South Africa in general and how to develop mining projects there.
Excellent. Of course, the core Henkrys asset received a glowing independent review from Erudite Strategies back in June, but it's all about the Bison acquisition that the market is really focused on, and it's really piqued investor interest with both assets in the mineral-rich Witwatersrand region and, of course, close to the Bison uranium mine. But, of course, the due diligence being completed ahead of schedule has really captured the attention of the market and investors this week with a sharp movement in the share price. So can you tell us about Bison and the ultra-fast due diligence process that's now been completed?
Yeah, well, the key thing about Bison, I mean, it's very, very similar to Henkrys in terms of the amount of information that's available. I mean, Henkrys was founded in 1976, and there was a full feasibility study done, $30 million spent on it. Bison is very similar in the sense that there's millions of dollars have already been spent. There's over 160 boreholes that have been sunk between Bison North, Bison Central, where the Bison uranium mine is, and Bison South. There's about 84 boreholes that have actually been put together to comprise the current CPR. And all this was started in the 1950s. There was another tranche of work done in the 1980s. Anglo-American again got involved in the 1990s. So there's a whole slew of information that's very detailed about the deposit and the strength of the deposit and the fact that it's both gold and uranium. So it was very easy for us to advance the due diligence pretty quickly because of the amount of information that was available.
Of course. So what is your timescale looking like now for the next steps at Bison?
Well, the key thing from our perspective is obviously we've got the binding agreement in place. We now need to move forward with the commodity-linked debt facility. So it's like a prepaid facility that will be taking on the gold, not on the uranium. We're going to keep the uranium for ourselves. But it's been linked to the gold. And in essence, it's a standard structure agreement that Jason has put together historically while at Rothschilds. And they were the biggest gold trader and gold funder of their time, doing huge amounts of deals in South Africa. So we pretty much know exactly how to structure that deal and basically move that forward. So we've got that funding agreement in place, finalize everything with that debt funding. And if you work it into the greater scheme of things, it's less than 1% of the gold resources that will be taking as a debt. And that's just the gold. It ignores all of the uranium that's in there, and that's what we're going for. But that's the cost of that debt that's going to be taken in terms of the commodity or the prepayment of the commodity. And the intention is to finalize this by the 30th of September. move forward thereafter and sort of make the transfer of all of the mining and mineral rights associated with it. And with the funding that comes in, we will update the mineral resource estimate. We'll do some drilling on Basin South and Basin North, all associated with the funds that are coming in. So it'll be ring-fenced for the association of the Bison projects as compared to what's happening with Henkrys.
Okay, well, on the subject of your chairman, Jason Brewer, of course, his other companies have assets nearby. Does this help you when you're planning out a campaign like this? Does this help you in regard to logistical and resource efficiencies?
It does. I mean, if we look at sort of the Blesberg relative to Henkrys, as the crow flies, is about 30 kilometers away. They're well established already with supplies of diesel, local connections, representation. So, and all the groundwork that they've been doing to prepare for those operations, we sort of hang on the coattails of the work that they've done. And a lot of the guys are working on the ground. They're not just working on behalf of Marula, they're working on behalf of NEO in the sense in the local community.
Excellent. Well, an awful lot's already been achieved by NEO since you came to market, and of course in a short space of time with this due diligence process too. What else can investors and shareholders look forward to in the coming weeks and months?
We have stated that we're looking at additional acquisitions in around the Wits Basin. If you have to look at the history of the Wits Basin, at its peak, there was 40 uranium mines in production. Some of the first uranium that went into the very first nuclear reactors back in the 50s came from South Africa. So it's got a rich traditional history of uranium mining. But as the prices fell away, and there were lots of languishing around sort of $10 a pound for a very long period post 3 Mile Island, there was just no incentive for people to get back in. So from our perspective, we see there's a huge opportunity in terms of the resources that are currently sitting in and around the basin, north and south. If you look at the infrastructure that's around there, you've got St. Helens 10 shaft, which is to the north. You've got Beatrix 4 shaft, which is in between the two deposits, and the number 2 shaft, which is very close to where the Basin South is. So from our perspective, having the discussions that we are having with a number of parties in that region to increase the land holdings, increase the resource base, and also get access to existing infrastructure. That's really what we're trying to achieve over the course of the next couple of months.
So, Sean, in this deal with at Bison, gold is something of a byproduct for you, isn't it? How do you intend to use this in the project going forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for asking that. Yeah, there's about just over 4 million ounces of gold in the deposit, and it's not as if we're having to go into a separate mining area to mine it. You're mining the uranium and the gold simultaneously. So it's one set of mining, but you get two products out of it. And if you look at the value of the gold that's in the ground, we're looking at 2 million ounces in Bison North alongside 57 billion pounds worth of uranium. Now you take that value of the gold as a byproduct. I mean, essentially, you're getting the uranium for free because all of your operating costs for the mining and the plant is pretty much covered by the gold revenue. So from our perspective, it's an absolute no-brainer to move forward with the Bison project because the operating costs and the processing costs for the uranium will be so low.
Well, it's been great speaking with you today, Sean, and of course we wish you every success in the development, both of course of Henkrys and the new Bison projects. So, Sean Heathcote, Chief Executive of NEO Energy Metals, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks so much indeed. Great to be with you again.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.